Welcome to today's trip. I'm heading off to visit the Australian Army Flying Museum over at Oakey. Stopping in at a few historical sites on the way there and on the way home. So stick with me, it should be a good day out. So on the trip home I come across this Muntapa Railway Tunnel. So I'll stop in there and have a quick look, and also I get some awesome sunset shots with the camera. Of course I start my day in Mandabra, so here I am leaving Mandabra, and it's a cold, foggy winter's morning. The fog has actually delayed my start for safety reasons, because I'll be heading out along Geelong Road, which is very well known for the kangaroos and all the wildlife out there. So I left a little bit later than I planned, heading west towards Dalby. So about 60 odd k's out of Mandabra, the double lane bitumen ends and it turns into this single lane stuff. And I haven't hardly passed a car for the first 45 minutes of my ride. And the first thing I come across is a B-double truck. So the safest thing to do was to slow right down and get right off the road and give him all the bitumen he wants. Yeah, so on our right here now, this is the historic Mundubbera homestead. So we're just travelling past it. But before we get, just past Mundubbera homestead and before the Geelong crossroads, there's a small park, and I've always just called it Bottle Tree Park because it's planted with all these bottle trees. But its official name is Jack Coe Park, and it's named after, would you believe it, Jack Coe. Yep, they really pushed the creativity boat out on that one. After doing a bit of research, I found Jack Coe was the author of The Big Scrub, a book covering the history of Geelong and the Mundubbera area. His research and correspondence have been cited in historical documents about the region and the early pastoral station of Mundubbera. So there you go, first lesson of the day, and we're only just getting started. After a stretch of the legs and a watering of one bottle tree, I'm sure it appreciated it, I continue on to Geelong. So just coming past the Geelong school at the moment, up to the T road where I'll have to turn right. There's not much happening out here these days. There's an old shop here and I think it's actually open again. They keep trying, there've been different people have opened it and it doesn't seem to stay open long. I just don't think the support's there for it. Yeah, so travelling along, the countryside's looking pretty interesting this time of the year. Some paddocks have been harvested and are brown and lifeless. Others are bright green with new growth. Some are just freshly ploughed, leaving rich black soils ready for planting. A bit like a patchwork quilt, designed by a farmer. After stopping for fuel in Dalby, It was another 50 kilometres on to Oakey and the museum. Well, that was the plan. I managed to miss the turn-off because I was absolutely certain I knew where I was going. As every traveller knows, confidence and accuracy are often complete strangers. So I pulled over to work out where I'd actually gone wrong. The rambling Harley caught the attention of this young fellow, who came running over with a big smile and an enthusiastic wave. Absolutely made my day. Sometimes it's the little moments that stick with you. After a quick U-turn and a bit of backtracking, I finally found the correct turn-off and made it into the museum. Entry to the Australian Army Flying Museum is completely free and is well worth the trip. There's heaps to see and read about, learn about, plenty of Australian aviation history in there. One thing that really amazed me was seeing some of the early aircraft. Honestly, I still can't believe people willingly climbed into what appears to be a collection of fabric timber held together with string and wire, and then decide the sensible thing to do was to try and launch it off into the air in hundreds of feet. They were a different breed of people back then. There's even a helicopter simulator. You need a staff member to help you operate it, and it did look like a lot of fun, but I decided not to have a go, mainly because I didn't want to show off, my natural flying talents. So I'll stay quiet here for a little bit. I'll put some music on and you can have a look around the inside of the museum. Well, that's the museum done and dusted. I really hope you enjoyed it. Now we'll start heading home. So after a pie and a coffee at the bakery, because every good road trip runs on pies and caffeine, I headed off towards Kooyar. So notice this domey thing up here on top of the hill. It must be some sort of radar thingo for the airstrip, I suppose. Along the way, I spotted the turn-off for the Muntapa Railway Tunnel. I think it's pronounced Muntapa. Now, you all know I love a good smelly railway tunnel. If you haven't seen it, check out my video on the Bulbunda Railway Tunnel over near Gingin. Anyway, curiosity got the better of me and I had to investigate. The road in was pretty corrugated, so the Harley got switched into adventure bike mode. That's a technical term, meaning I slowed down and hung on a bit tighter. No real problems though, and before long I arrived at the tunnel. The bugs on the lens, had to give it the old hack tour. Try again. A kilometre round trip, I can do that, I suppose. Get me steps in for the day. Ooh, which way do you go? That way, that way. This way looks better, more used. I would jog, but I've got too much stuff in my pockets, it'll all fall out. So we'll just have to walk. Looks like a railway track. So like many of these historic sites, there are plenty of information boards explaining the history of the area. The Muntapa Tunnel opened in 1913 and it stretches 287 metres, making it the longest straight railway tunnel in Queensland. These days it's home to a large colony of bent-wing bats. So naturally, I wandered into a dark, damp tunnel full of bats because apparently that's the sort of thing I do for entertainment. I have to say it was well worth the detour to drop into this Muntapa Railway Tunnel. Very interesting place. Plenty of history. Love it. You should be glad you haven't got smell-o-vision. The stink of bat shit in here. Holy hell. But she's all fenced off. Can't go any further anyway. Okay, that's enough. Probably got Khaleesi virus now. I think you actually catch Lissa virus from bats, not Khaleesi virus. I think Khaleesi virus is something they give to rabbits, isn't it? Anyway, tell me if I'm wrong. Here we go, information. Great area, toilets, gas barbecues. Very nice. And walks. There's another walk up here. Sorry, I'm a little bit puffed. I've been stepping it out. Railway camp. Not much of it left. And there's a walk over there to something. Come back here and explore one day when I've got more time. Oh, there you go, the school camp. Not much left of it. And another walk. Shit, yeah. Place to come back and camp with the caravan, eh? Excellent. I wonder if you can stop here. Right, I've got to keep going. So this was going to be a really cool looking shot with the sun just shimmering across the water, except for that big bit of bug guts right in the middle of the screen. Bugger.
Gone before I realized I was out of my way. We sit and talk, I see your crying eyes turning red through the day. I share my mind with no censorship, hang it all out to dry. Teardrops hanging from your upper lip, clinging on, afraid to fly. And I wait for the night when I will hold you tight.
Well, that's the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Come and join me for the next one. And until then, stay upright, but keep tripping.